Your business is one of a kind, so your website should be too. With Wix, it's easy, almost too easy, to create a website that's perfectly yours. Just tell AI what kind of site you want to build or choose from thousands of templates. Change whatever you want, whenever you want, and get everything you need to start running your business your way. No matter what you sell or what you aspire to be, you can do it all, yourself, on Wix.
Did you know 39% of teen drivers admit to texting while driving? Even scarier, those who text are more likely to speed and run red lights. Shockingly, 94% know it's dangerous but do it anyway. As a parent, you can't always be in the car, but you can stay connected to their safety with Greenlight Infinity's driving reports. Monitor their driving habits, see if they're using their phone, speeding, and more. These reports provide real data for meaningful conversations about safety. Plus, with weekly updates, you can track their progress over time. Help keep your teens safe. Sign up for Greenlight Infinity at greenlight.com/podcast.
Welcome to Season 3 of the Knack 4 Business Podcast. Over 350 episodes strong, we're here to ignite your entrepreneurial spirit with fresh insights, networking gems, and creative strategies that elevate your game.
Are you struggling to lead projects or teams when you don't have the authority or title to back it up? That's exactly what Mohammed will talk about in this episode. He'll share real-world strategies on how to influence others, move projects forward fast, and deliver results, even when you're not in charge. If you're a startup founder, a team lead, or working in a volunteer-based organization, this conversation will give you practical tools to lead with confidence. And so, our guest today is Mohammed Lahloub. Mohammed is a dynamic, purpose-driven leader whose journey speaks to resilience, innovation, and unwavering determination. After moving to Canada to pursue higher education, he self-funded his studies while making a real impact in his local community, rising to the role of vice president during his time there. Now he's furthering his academic path with a second degree while serving as a deputy chairman of a local organization. Recently became the youngest project manager at his company, bringing a fresh perspective and passion for excellence to every initiative he touches. His story is one of leadership in motion, both in business and in service to others. Mohammed, absolute pleasure to have you here today. What is your favorite quote or term?
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's nice to virtually meet you, Bernie and Wayne, and I'm happy to be here. So my favorite quote is actually by Bruce Lee. He said that you might as well be dead if you always put limits on what you can do physically or anything else. It'll spread over the rest of your life. It'll spread into your work, into your morality, into your entire being. There are no limits, there are plateaus, but you must not stay there. You must go beyond them if it kills you. A man must constantly exceed his level. I really love this quote. My favorite part of this quote is that there are no limits, there are plateaus, but you must not stay there. So you must go beyond them because we can notice them. We can notice them if we're aware of wherever we are in life, that we're always plateauing every at a certain level. It's okay, and things are stagnant. And that's when you need to do something else or find a way to make it more exciting and go beyond it.
Do you have a tagline you operate with?
It's a personal tagline that's running projects 24/7 and delivering results no matter what. So if you have a project, if you have something that needs to be done, I'm your guy.
So here's the first big question. Authority. So usually if you get hired on, you're the manager, you're the director, you're the supervisor, you're the lead hand, all these things denote authority. How do you manage a team when you don't have that designation? How do you get there?
That's actually a very good question. I believe that everyone has an influence. Everything actually has an influence. In fact, there's a saying, the butterfly effect, and that your goal is basically to direct that influence where you want it. You all have influence, whether you like it or not. The challenge comes whenever there is no authority, is that I want to direct or I want to influence people or the team or the company in the direction that I want. Obviously, it's much easier if you have the authority. As I'm the boss, this is what I want. You need to get done or you're not getting paid. But the challenge is when you don't have that official authority figure and you do want people to go in that direction. And it's an art. I really believe it is an art of how to influence people. A lot of it goes down to understanding the team, understanding the dynamic, understand even on a personal level what this guy really responds to. Some people respond to an authority figure and only an authority figure. And if you don't have authority, they're just not going to listen to you. Some people respond if you talk to them in a friendly way. The seniors are one of my most challenging, considering my age, is that dealing with seniors has been the most challenging because they know more than you. It's hard to tell them, hey, you should do it this way. Like, hey, boy, I've been in this business for 30 years and we've always been doing it this way. Who are you to come and tell me that we need to do it that way? With a senior, you need to direct them by asking a question and make it seem like it's their idea. That's something I always tell the youngsters getting into project management or leadership is don't tell them what to do. In fact, don't tell anyone what to do. If it's a senior, somebody has been in the business for so long, you need to show them that you respect that they've been in this business for a while and they know a lot. It's just that your job is to get this particular thing done and you need their help. Let's say it's you, Bernie, or you, Wayne, and we need to get this software project going. You've been in this software development field for 20 years and I've only been in it for 5 years. Then I won't come and say, hey, we need to get this done and you should do it this way, which is my way. And I've only learned it last night. It'll be more of, Wayne, I have this challenge and I need your help. I've been tasked with this project. And what do you think is the best way to go around this particular task? And then you would give me your suggestion, which most probably is going to be what I wanted. And I'd be like, okay, so can we do that? You'll be like, sure. Because you also want to get things done and move things along because it's your job or whatever. Then now it's not me telling you what to do. It's you just told yourself what to do and you just picked up the task and you're happy. But what I really did is I just managed the project and assigned this task to somebody and now things are moving along.
You sound like my mother-in-law managing her 5 sons. Sorry, but that's the art, right? Or it's 5 minutes before bedtime and that heads up and it already seeds the idea.
You have worked with some volunteer organizations.
I did.
I know some people that would rather shave with a grater than work with volunteers because you can't fire them. Tell me about those two cultures between working with volunteers and working with paid staff and what you like, what you hate. I'm really interested.
It's a different beast when you're dealing with volunteers because you can't really fire them. They don't have to do anything. They can walk away anytime they want to walk away. And the difference I would say between, let's say you're a project manager at a company and it's your job and you're getting paid, but you don't have the authority. In a volunteer community, you do have the official title. Let's say you're the team lead or the vice president, but you don't have the financial ability to even actually just to tell someone, hey, you just got to go. You can't volunteer with us. Get out of here. No, they want to be there and they're serving a purpose. I think one of the things that we should keep in mind as leaders in volunteer communities is that everybody is volunteering for a purpose. They would rather be with their families or go do something else or make some money, but they decided to volunteer because they care about the purpose of this nonprofit organization or they care about this particular thing. They have an idea that they want to share. So respecting that and understanding that they're there for a reason and finding that.
No one knows your business better than you. So who better to create your website than, well, you? Wix's website builder puts it all in your hands. Create a beautiful website just by talking with AI or choosing from thousands of templates. Customize every detail with simple drag and drop tools and get everything you need to start running business your way. Build more, think bigger, and do it all yourself on Wix. Go to Wix.com.
Balance between giving them space of expressing what they want to express and also telling them, hey, I understand it. You have a lot of ideas and we'd love to hear them, but that's not the time for it. And we need to get this particular project going. So come on, get your hands dirty. Using the right tone and the right questions and the right directions to give to people. And also showing them that you're part of the team and you're not just sitting in an office and giving directions here and there plays a big role. And I made a lot of mistakes. I can tell you all kinds of stories about how I came across as somebody who's just sitting in an office and giving directions here and there, and nobody's going to listen to you. Even if you do have the official authority, nobody's going to listen. So the only way to do it is to actually be with the team and be part of the team and remind them that you're all serving one purpose and you're all going to work on this together. They're going to forget that you're the vice president or whatever fancy title that you have, and they're all just going to follow direction.
How do you earn the trust of people, especially when things are moving around? Volunteer organization, things might shift. You might have a gala coming up, but also something's come up that the organization deals with, right? Whether it's, let's say, homelessness or mental health or saving puppies, and all of a sudden you have a herd of puppies now coming into the pound, right? And it's, I got the gala. So how do you build that trust so that people want to listen and want to engage and keep with the goal?
I think it goes back to the original point of serving one purpose, just showing people that you're part of the team and you're all just working on this together. They're going to understand that you're not here for fame or for money or for position or title or whatever. That'll be the hardest thing to deal with, actually, is just proving to people that, and I have stories to talk about if you'd like to hear some fun, interesting things that happen.
Sure. Sometimes the examples give the best street cred.
When I was vice president of a community, I would be the one, because I was following this approach, which is you need to get your hands dirty and be part of the team. Sometimes there is no team. There's only you. And you still want to get this project going, or you still want to get this task done. So you end up taking all the credit. And what appears to people is that, hey, there's a lot of people that worked on this project and only the vice president is taking the credit. But the reality is there's just nobody. So now you have to explain to people that, no, I didn't take credit because I'm the vice president. I took credit because, hey, there's nobody else. And I was the only one that did this project. And it was recorded. And in all the pictures, there's only Mohammed. What's going on here? Where's the rest of the team? The reality is there's no rest of the team. I think the mistake I made in that particular instance, where it literally happened, that we were shooting a video and I asked for volunteers to come up and to answer some questions in front of the camera. And we're going to publish this video on YouTube and on Facebook and all that stuff. And we only had one person that showed up, and he was also part of the executive team. So I was like, okay, fine, then I'll just do it myself. Although I know that I'm not the best looking guy, I was like, fine, I'll just do it. So then it's me and him. So it looked like, oh yeah, the leaders are only the ones that are appearing on camera and nobody else from the community. I was like, I'm not going to appear on camera anymore. The mistake is being too hung up on getting things done and forgetting this downside, which is you don't want to take all the credit. For example, if I go back in time, learning what I know now, I would actually skip this project or take more time to prepare for it and have some other people to appear on camera, because people do like to appear on camera usually. So have some other people appear on camera and give them the credit, although I'm basically the project manager, but I will give them the credit instead of me appearing on the camera and being too hung up on, no, we got to get this project going. You know what I mean?
Thanks to the pandemic and Zoom, now no one knows whether you're wearing pants. How do you gauge what is appropriate dress wear so that you are having the best influence possible?
Interesting question. Only thanks to the pandemic and Zoom, people here are very laid back. So honestly, part of me thinks that it doesn't really matter. Although as a leader, I think you still need to dress appropriately. So now how it changed is, for example, this background that you see and the background that you have, and in addition to what you dress, now you have to show that you're in a professional setting and you're not just shooting in the kitchen or in the backyard. So I think it changed with the environment. And also, if you're in a Zoom call and you show up in a full suit, that's also going to be weird. So yeah, you have to find that balance.
It almost sounds like you have to have a quality of a theater. I guess you wouldn't show up in a garbage collection outfit and then promote a health clinic, right? Because these two things aren't normally associated. So when the pressure is on, how do you get the speed and quality? You already touched on it, right? You're pressed for time, and the other volunteers or the other folks as part of the organization didn't feel comfortable getting on screen. So it's just you and another senior management person. But how do you get the balance, though, once you figure I do need other players involved? How do you get that to run harmonized for you?
I think it goes back to understanding what really matters and the prioritization of the entire project. Actually, there's two sides of things to relate to my story of the whole video that I appeared in and I took all the credit. Is the prioritization. What is the priority? Is it just to get things done, or is it to show the actual community? Going back in time, it's actually showing the actual community. But the other side of it, when you're pressed for time or you're pressed overall in the project, how do you not cause a panic in your team? In a volunteer setting, you're never going to really cause a panic because there's no job on the line, no food on the table, nothing really. It's not that serious. But with a job, when you have a close deadline and You want to show to people that we really need to get this project done within this deadline. You need to be the calmest person in the room as the leader. Your team members are basically like sponges pulling in energy from you. If you're showing up panicky, it's going to be chaos. If you show up with low energy, everybody's going to have low energy. If you show up very positive and calm and grounded, and even if we are pressed in time, I don't think panicking and causing chaos is going to make them work any faster. I really think it's just going to make them work faster, but the quality will go down the drain. Instead of 90% of the project done by the deadline, you'll have 100% of it done, but it's not working. But hey, it's done. We finished it. So now deal with it. With pressure, to remember what matters, find out your options into the priorities of the project, and just make sure that you're the calmest in the room. You can press them and tell them that we are tight on time. I have projects now where we don't really have anyone to take it because everybody's busy, everybody's assigned with a task, and I really need to get this project going. There are times when I had to go back to the client and say, I'm sorry, but I will need more time. I just can't get this done within this required time. And that depends on also the project management you're running. In my current job, project management is, I can't really hire anybody, but there are project managers who own the project. So their job is to get it done, and how they're getting it done. In that case, you can just hire more people or outsource if you can't find the right person. You can navigate your way through the resources that you have.
In leadership, they talk about tools in a toolbox. Systems and tools do you have that actually keep your projects moving?
I think the more you grow in project management, the more you grow in leadership, the more tools you can pick up. Now it's overwhelming that there's a lot of options out there. As far as I'm concerned, I try to follow, because I'm a people's person. I'm more interested in people than systems. Systems are helpful. AI is now getting along and it's constantly changing. I would rather focus on the people aspect of my project management style than the software or the tools aspect, because it's always changing. You just can't follow along. And I'm relatively classic, actually. So I good old Excel sheets and the tasks. And we got tickets and you assign those tickets. And if it's a software environment, you assign those tickets to people. If it's more of a laid back volunteer work, usually I would have an Excel sheet, as simple as that. And that Excel sheet, I would share it or Google Sheet. So you could share it with everybody else. I would write the names of the people assigned to each task. And that's basically it. It makes it simple. If let's say we're using a relatively complicated tool, let's say a Jira or one of those software project management tools, you're going to have to educate people on how to use them. You're going to spend a lot of time telling them how to use this system and what needs to be done. So I would rather be simple. Hey, this is Excel. Everybody knows how to use Excel. This is your task. Get it done and get back to me. There's an update. Obviously, you have to follow up. Honestly, I think one of the mistakes project managers or leaders in general do is focusing too much on the tools and on the softwares. And, AI, need to keep up to speed. You're going to keep up to speed, man. Don't. It's easy. Like you got softwares that come up almost every day. Just focus on your team, focus on the people, make sure things are getting done instead of focusing on a ticketing system or a toolbox. You'll get things done surprisingly faster than with an official like project management tool. A little bit unusual for a project manager. Usually project managers do want to focus on tools and be like, no, I use a Jira and they're very proud of that Jira or whatever. No, I'm not that kind.
How do you keep from burning out when you're always on?
Burnout is certainly going to happen at some point when you're running projects all the time. And you learn with time, just learning about your own person and what really is going to keep your energy and you're going to keep you motivated, and going to the gym and just making sure that you have the energy to handle what you need to handle, and knowing when to stop and when taking a step back and be like, okay,
Wix. It's where website creation meets AI and where your boldest ideas become real. It just takes one platform to build a site that looks great and does everything you need it to. And it just takes one person, you, to start taking care of business like a 10-person team. With AI tools for creating an entire website from scratch or testing new ways to make money, Wix is there with you from day one. Try it out now at Wix.com.
You're either sick or you have something going on that you need to take care of on a personal level. Just that personal awareness, I think, is actually a fundamental thing, not only for project managers, but for everybody. Just being self-aware of your health, self-aware of your energy and how much you can handle. One of the things I would also tell the youngsters like me is that you can handle a lot more than you think. And the only reason I say that is because you have to keep pushing until you break. Because if you don't break, then you didn't push hard enough. Once you break, then you know, okay, that's my maximum. I need to slow it down a bit and don't follow the general rule of, oh, you need 8 hours of sleep, or you need this much protein, or you need this much. Not everybody has different needs. Maybe you need less than 8 hours. Maybe you need more than 8 hours. Maybe you can handle one project at a time. Maybe you can handle 10 projects at a time. I think everybody's different. And the more you're aware of it, the better it is. I do journal. I try to spend some time before getting into my first meeting, which is 7 a.m. my time. Before getting into this first meeting, make sure you have something in your system. So you eat some breakfast, take a shower, take some more of a relaxing to keep you energetic and you don't feel obligated to manage those projects. That goes a long way, although these are all simple things that almost everybody does. But if you're aware that you're doing them because you want to keep your energy and make sure that your body is functioning in the best way possible, you're only going to do this burnout thing once, like me.
So when you're talking about being the unofficial leader and you brought in project management, I see two layers coming together. Being a leader, whether it's designated or not, you become the project manager, whether it's the short few steps to the really long range project that might last for a half a year or longer. As a project manager, from that perspective, certain things have to happen in a certain timing sequence. Take baking a cake, for example. You have to have the products available, then you have to have grease the pan, flour, filling, whatever type of cake you're going to make. There's a series of steps and you build them in sequence so that things can come together. In that process, you also understand there's a dollar value to things, whether it's just you're making it for yourself or you're going to sell it or you're going to push a product out for somebody in a volunteer organization. My question to you now is, once you have a sense of how the rhythm of things come together, do you feed that metric back to those that you're working with so they have a sense of, are we on time? Are we doing well? Do we need to adapt? Do you ever find that as part of the process? The act of doing that makes you the leader?
Not necessarily makes you the leader, but certainly is necessary. Project management or leadership / communication is, I would say, two faces for the same coin. Because if you can't communicate to your team, whether it's the urgency or the update of the project, you're going to lose track. They're not going to feel motivated. So now people are motivated to get things done. Or, oh, wait, we're actually falling behind. So what's going on? It's also transparency. You have to keep people aware of the status of the project. That's what I would say the most common meeting for projects, the stand-up meeting or the daily stand-up meeting or the weekly stand-up meeting, whatever they're calling it. Depends obviously on the project. Sometimes it's weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, sometimes monthly, depends. But I think it's very necessary. Does it make you the leader though? I wouldn't say so. Like previously, I used to be a software developer. Obviously the official title is a software developer. So I don't run anything in terms of leadership. I was in a senior, I was in a team lead, I was nothing. And there were times when the scrum master, who is the project manager, would call in sick or he would just not be present in the daily sync meeting. And I would offer to run it for him. And that doesn't make me the leader. It just makes me helpful in days when he's sick or he's not available. I'll say, okay, because it's basically just a series of questions. If there's a particular thing that needs to be raised, then you just raise it. Does that make you a leader? I don't think so. I think leadership goes beyond that. Leaders make or break an organization. They make or break a team. If you got a team and the leader just sucks, the team is going to fall apart and nothing's going to get done. If you have a team that is fairly incompetent, but the leader is good, you're going to be surprised on how many things they're going to get done.
Some people who are aspiring for leadership are scared to death of conflict. And it means they don't ask the hard questions or they don't get what they need to have done because they never asked. How do you handle conflict?
Conflict with me or between the team members?
Team members.
Yeah. Conflict resolution is another skill that is necessary for the leader. And I think it's also underestimated because conflicts are going to happen almost 100% of any project. Sometimes you just need to pick up on the subtle signs of whether it's a conflict arising or there is a conflict that just nobody knows about. Those two people hate the guts of each other and they're just working in this project, right? So you have to, I don't care what their personal issues are, but you need to still work on this as a team. And previously, I would pick on an example back when I was so I used to work in an agricultural company. I was a salesman. My official title was technical sales rep. So I wasn't a supervisor, I wasn't a manager, I wasn't a leader. But just because of my natural instinct to taking leadership, and some people would come to me when there was an issue and maybe they would just complain, but then I'll take it as, okay, so they want me to solve the problem. So I'll just take the liberty of solving the problem. And so previously there was an issue that happened. I remember that one of our sales team members wanted the logistics department to give her a call before they ship this agricultural product to the farmer, but they never did. So the farmer called the sales rep, who was the main point of contact for the farmer, and was like, you guys didn't really call me and I don't want the product anymore, take it back. Because he just wants to be there. He wants to put it in a certain way, whatever. So she called me basically complaining or asking what to do. Hey, what do I do here? But again, she's a sales rep and I'm a sales rep, so I don't have any authority over anyone. And I was like, okay, interesting. Let me take a look at the email. And I saw the email. She actually did write that like, you need to give her a call before you ship the product. She called the logistics team lead at the time and they got into an argument. They couldn't solve it. So she came to me saying, what do you think? What needs to happen or what's going on? So what I did is instead of going to the logistics department, I called the driver himself while she was on the line with me. I told her, just listen and we'll see what happened. Because if you want to resolve a conflict, you just want to hear all the different sides of the story. People are complaining or they have a conflict because they see it from different perspectives. We all seen that picture of one person is arguing that this number is a 6 and the other person is arguing this number is a 9. And they're both right in a way, but from each one's perspective. I called this driver and I told him if she was listening, I just told her, don't talk. I called him like, hey, I've seen the email. She told you to give her a call before you ship the product. What happened? And he said, oh, I did call her. And I left a voicemail. And so I was like, okay, interesting. So he called her, but she was busy, apparently. What ended up happening is that because we're dealing with farmers, a lot of them are out in the country. She was in a place where there was no reception. The driver did call her, left her voicemail. She didn't check her voicemail because she was doing the sales or whatever. And they shipped the product. So the reality is it's in a way nobody's fault, but now we had a fight. And had I not done that, and if she didn't listen to the other person's perspective, maybe that conflict would have became a bigger conflict. And now there's another issue. But to answer your question, if you want to resolve a conflict, you need to listen to all the different parties. And as a leader, your job is to not take sides with anyone. One of the things I used to do, and I don't think it's a mistake, I think it's the right thing to do, is that let's say Bernie and Wayne have an issue with each other, but they don't see each other. And Wayne is talking to me now, and I'll say, yeah, you're right. I think Bernie messed up, but let me get back to you and I'll see what I can do. Then I go to Bernie and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, Wayne actually did mess up. Nah, goddamn, I don't know how he did that. This is one of the things that I used to do. And I think it depends on the situation, depends on the relationship, depends on the scale of the conflict. Sometimes you would want to use that approach. Sometimes maybe you would want to use an approach where if Bernie did mess up, I will just tell him straight up, hey man, that was actually your fault. I think you shouldn't really have done that. But yeah, going back to the stories, that if just the understanding and seeing each other's perspective helped resolve that conflict, and now they lived happily ever after.
Would you say then negotiation would also form part of this? If you have good negotiation skills, it would be another root element. What you've just done now is almost like a negotiation tactic, except it's now when you talked about problem, person's ticked off, client's not happy, take the stuff back. You didn't check your voicemail. Who's right, who's wrong? Walking through that whole thing, does negotiation then become part of it? One is gathering the information and then working the information that you gathered. Would you say that would be the key?
Yeah, negotiation as a skill certainly is going to help. And it's necessary when you're working with people, you need to know how to deal with them. I wouldn't necessarily call it negotiation, honestly, because more psychology than anything. Just from a psychology perspective, when you show that you're on one person's side, they tend to calm down and tell you the truth and exactly everything that happened and lower their guard in resolving conflicts. As I said, It's all about understanding. And if I were to resolve a conflict between two parties, if I don't know the full story from each of the parties, I'm not going to be able to resolve the conflict. And even if I resolve the superficial conflict, there's an underlying reason why they're fighting, and I don't know what it is. So I would say, yeah, psychology is more like it's just understanding and showing the person that I'm on your side. Just tell me exactly what happened. Just be honest. Did you actually mess up? Or did you eat this person's cookie? They'll tell you exactly what happened and they'll be comfortable. They won't feel like you're on the other person's side. I used to hate that. Even in the same company, I would have issues. I would go to my manager, who does actually have the official authority figure. It was the owner of the company. I used to be, and there used to be a jealousy with the other team members that I was very close to the managers. But anyway, so I would call the manager and be like, hey, this guy is not following. I was a bit of a spoiled kid. My orders would always get the priority. Obviously not because it's Mohammed and everybody likes Mohammed. No, it's just because the nature of my products were they had to go as soon as possible. So they would take the priority, and the production department didn't like it. The logistics department didn't like it. And they would feel like I'm just being tipped off or whatever. There was a conflict between me and the production manager. I called the owner and said, I had this order and they just prioritized somebody else's orders over me. And now I lost the deal. And the approach of conflict resolution from the owner of the company was not really my style, which is appearing on my side and going to the other person and fixing it. It was actually appearing on the other person's side and giving them excuses. But then I figured later, because I ended up being a friend with the production manager after we both left the company, that he would actually go to the production manager and just scold the heck out of them and tell them, why did you do that? And you're just a piece of work, right? But the reality is, to me, he was saying, no, he didn't do that. He didn't mean it. He probably was busy. He was doing this. He was doing that. So that's also later me just contemplating and thinking about how things went. I think it's a good conflict resolution style. It works overall, but again, it depends on the kinds of people. That's why psychology is a big part of it. And I'm continuously learning psychology. To me, it was like, what do you mean? Like, he was just, why are you giving this guy excuses? He messed up. You should say he did actually mess up. But the reality is he was just giving him excuses, then going to him and telling him, you messed up with Mohammed, you're such a whatever. A lot of stories happened in that company. It was actually my favorite job. Although I was just a salesman. I wasn't a project manager. I wasn't a leader. It was my favorite. It was a lot of fun.
So how does a leader recognize a team that's doing good work?
It's easy because as the project manager, you assign tasks and have deadlines for those tasks. If they're being met from a pure project management perspective, they're doing good. That's it. But a lot of times, that's not the whole story. Sometimes they were helping other people and that ended up them falling behind on that particular task that was assigned to them. But the reality is they helped everybody else on the team to progress the ball rolling. In this case, from a pure project management perspective, it'll be like, this guy sucks because he did not actually do the task and did not meet the deadline. But the reality is, from a leadership perspective here, if you're noticing that they're causing a positive ripple effect and they're helping everybody else on the team, you should really recognize it and take a step back and be like, you know what? This guy is more important than everybody else. He doesn't get things done, but he helps everybody else get things done. That's like me. If you assign me on a project and you assign me something to do, I'm probably not going to get it done, but I'll help everybody else to get everything done. So does that make me like a bad team member? I think it's a positive thing to have that, because they will assist you as the leader to get things done from everybody else. My role as a leader would be to recognize that and understand, okay, this guy doesn't really get anything done, but his importance or his presence is very important to the organization or to the team. So I will now start assigning him less and less tasks, but just make sure that he's around to feel like he's important when he's not. And he is important.
Who is your ideal client and how should they get a hold of you?
Currently, my focus is healthcare IT and focusing in radiology in particular. But my ideal client is somebody who knows what they want from a more generic perspective. They have a deadline, the budget, and they're cooperative. If you don't know what you want, you don't know what your budget is, you have no idea where you want to get, I can't help you with that. My job is, as my tagline says, that running projects 24/7, delivering results no matter what. So I'm only going to be able to deliver results when you know what the results are. But if you don't know what the results are and you just want to, I just want to improve my business, you're going to waste some tens of thousands of dollars on a consulting firm that will tell you, hey, you need to get your ducks in a row and use that corporate jargon. My ideal client will be somebody that knows they're in point A and they want to go to point B. They know what point B is and they need my help to go from A to B. That's the guy I want to work with.
How would they get a hold of you?
They can contact me by email, mspirig@gmail.com. They can go to my website, Lahloub. They can contact you guys and direct them to me. They can reach me on social media at Lahloub, whether it's X or Instagram. I'll be happy to chat.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you to Mohammed, my co-host Wayne, and you, the Knack for Business listeners. If you're looking for someone to help you go through a successful journey managing leadership, Mohammed's the guy to reach out to. He specializes right now in the medical side of the fence and in the radiological services.
To reach the podcast hosts, email them at info@creativeinsight.com or by the website creativeinsight.com, spelled KRVISIGHT.com. To reach Wayne at his email, wayne@motive8u.ca, that is MOTIVE, the numeral 8 and the letter u.ca, or his website, motive8u.ca. If you would like to be a guest on this podcast and share your knowledge, let us know. We would also appreciate your feedback on the content or format. Check the show notes for more details. For these podcasts, we like to acknowledge the support and thanks to the following people. Carl Richards from Podcast Solutions Made Simple, a renowned podcast expert, Fred Crouch, who is the Property Wizard podcaster, where Bernie is a co-host, Jovan Strika from At Hive, a co-working space that is more than just a space. Then Melanie Weber, Bernie's invaluable business partner, and Wayne Pratt from Motive 8U Inc., who serves as both a coach and co-host of these podcasts. Disclaimer. Please note that the Knack for Business podcast episodes are meant solely for educational and general informational purposes. The information and opinions contained within are not intended to be professional advice on any subject matter. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by the participants are their own personal beliefs and do not represent the views of the podcast hosts or any affiliated organizations. It is important to note that this podcast is not a replacement for consulting with certified experts in your area who possess knowledge of your unique situation. The hosts of the podcast, along with any participants or affiliated groups, do not take responsibility for any actions taken or not taken based on the information presented in this episode. It is highly recommended that individuals seek guidance from their own personal advisors in fields such as accounting, law, or other pertinent areas prior to undertaking any actions or making decisions that may impact their financial, legal, or other aspects of life.
Wix. It's where website creation meets AI, and where your boldest ideas become real. It just takes one platform to build a site that looks great and does everything you need it to. And it just takes one person, you, to start taking care of business like a 10-person team. With AI tools for creating an entire website from scratch or testing new ways to make money, Wix is there with you from day one. Try it out now at Wix.com.
Did you know 39% of teen drivers admit to texting while driving? Even scarier, those who text are more likely to speed and run red lights. Shockingly, 94% know it's dangerous but do it anyway. As a parent, you can't always be in the car, but you can stay connected to their safety with Greenlight Infinity's driving reports. Monitor their driving habits, see if they're using their phone, speeding, and more. These reports provide real data for meaningful conversations about safety. Plus, with weekly updates, you can track their progress over time. Help keep your teens safe. Sign up for Greenlight Infinity at greenlight.com/podcast.